Great, people, it's Jared here, Wolfgang1, back to do another Transformers review. Now, today I'm reviewing something I've been wanting to review for a few weeks now, and I keep putting it off. So I thought today would be a good day to sit down, do it, get the packaging, put in the bin, and I can finally get the bloody figure on my shelves. However, prepare yourselves, because the actual transformation for this ended up being a total clusterfuck. I'm not sure how much of it I got on camera. I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was, and somehow I managed to balls it up, but I can't bother to re-record it, so you just got to put up with it. This is the review for Studio Series 86 Sweep. Okay, so here is Sweep in his Studio Series box. It's the standard Studio Series box for like sort of all the 86 and probably all the other Studio Series as well. Some decent artwork on the front. Just disclaimer out the way now, okay? The blue that's coming through on the camera is a lot darker than the blue on the final figure. So that's how they differentiated between the Sweeps and Scourge. Scourge, I think, was the darker blue. The Sweeps were a slightly lighter shade of blue. But as a result, he's coming through looking like a Scourge on this. The chances of me ever getting Studio Series 86 Scourge are somewhere between bugger all and sweet FA. So I'm going to treat this as my Studio Series Scourge from now on. I couldn't care less about troop building or sweeps or anything like that. I've got other iterations of Scourge if I really want to do that. Yeah, this is my Studio Series 86 Scourge as far as I'm concerned. On the back it says big screen inspired. Let's just bring that up a little bit. Big screen inspired, scale, detail and backdrop. He's a Herald of Unicron, and Unicron reformats fallen Decepticons into the Sweeps. Deadly Hunters created to track down the matrix of leadership. 19 steps of transformation, apparently. Yeah, there's not really a hell of a lot to say about it. It's some like sort of a decent pose for like alt mode and like sort of robot mode on the back. The only thing I'm going to get rid of this box actually, because I desperately need to start making a little bit of room in my dwelling, and things like this is just like sort of taking up room for no reason. So once this review is done, this is going in the bin. Box obviously, not the figure. So yeah, it's all right for what it is. Safe and secure packaging, no complaints. The figure shouldn't end up damaged under any circumstances. So let's crack on and show the figure itself and the accessories that it came with. Okay, so here is Sweep in his I don't know what they are really. In his sweep mode, futuristic aircraft hovercraft mode thing. I was always a little bit unsure about what they were actually supposed to be. As a result, I'm just as confused now, sort of in my 40s, as I was when I was a kid, quite frankly. But there we are. So he, as I said, ignore the colours that are coming through on this, because it looks a lot closer to Scourge than it does Sweep, but it's not Scourge, apparently. Not that it makes any fucking difference at this point, really, as they were clones. It's a great alt mode. It's compact. It's quite a bit of sculpted detail on it. There is a few nitpicks with it. Of course, there's nitpicks because I can't have anything and just be happy with it, can I? So we'll come on to that in just a second. I'm going to show you some of the things that he came with. So he comes with one stand. Stand that would have been his birth scene, along with the Insecticons in the background getting reformatted into other Sweeps. So there's that. It comes with one instruction booklet. There we are. Let's just get that camera down a bit. One instruction booklet. The transformation isn't very involved, but there are a couple of parts that confused me the first time I did it, but I'm over that now. I'm past it. I didn't need the instructions after all. So yeah, go me and me being a man. One weapon, one signature weapon. A lot of hollow sections there, but you can see detail of what's supposed to be the machinery and the gun and everything like that. Cast in a block blue plastic, which is all fine and good. And it comes with this purple bendy plastic ice cream dildo thing. And this is supposed to represent sort of weapons fire and sort of things like that from his alt mode or his gun. So I'll show that when the time comes. In fact, do you know what? Let me show it on the alt mode now, because as gimmicks go, right, this is a bit shit. And what I think is a bit shit, quite frankly. Christ, let's get the lighting sorted. So basically, what you do is you just plug it on the end of any corresponding nub, and there we are. That is Sweep or Scourge or whatever you want this to be. Colin. Let's call him Colin. That's Colin's ice cream dildo stuck on top of his thing. That's supposed to represent the weapons fire or anything. I guess you could also plug it onto one of these like that, but then you need quite a few of them to actually make that work. Which I think is kind of pointless. Would have been if they'd have given you 3 of these, 3 or 4 of them, then it wouldn't have mattered. But just one is a bit wank. So there we are. So this is Sweep in his whatever the hell you want this to be alt mode. It's quite, as I said, quite compact. There's a slight dodgy bit with the feet here at the back, but you can't have everything. If you flip it under on the underside, you can clearly see where the arms are. You can kind of see where the legs are. This is still essentially a shell former. If I just completely destroy the illusion right now, ladies and gentlemen, and just lift out these 2 bottom flats, which are supposed to be the underside, right? There's the fucking robot mode underneath, near enough. So that's one thing they haven't been able to get away from, is the fact that Scourge is a shell former. Not as bad as the Generation 1 version, I'll be honest with you. There is slightly more movement in what you have to do to get to robot mode, but you can still see what's underneath there. The only one that I can think of that didn't follow the shell former ideology was the Generations version of Scourge that turned into the stealth bomber. That was fucking awesome. But that sort of acts as his underside, and therefore acts as a sort of a platform, if you will, so he doesn't lean to one side or whatever the case may be. So that's pretty cool. But it would have been nice if this had actually covered in all of this crap as well. Sort of on a few hinges and a few panels, click it all together, because the rest of this, all this shit back here, right, all relies on clicky panels, like clicking together and snapping together panels and that. You could have just done the same shit on this side and it wouldn't have mattered, but that's where they're cheaping out, ladies and gentlemen. That right there is kind of shit. So blue plastic again, painted along with all this crap here. Yeah, there we are. That's Sweep or Scourge or whoever you want him to be. This is Colin in his space Colin mode. How about that? Yeah, that's what it's got. That's what it is. It's a space Colin, right? Just wait till we get around to Keith. Right. So to transform this, right, is not massively difficult. I like this alt mode. I do. And maybe a few paint accents maybe on the top here to pick out some of the sculpted detail a little bit more, especially around this area. So, but for what it is, it's pretty cool. I didn't expect this to be as quite as successful as it was, to be fair. So we're gonna take it to the more successful of the 2 modes, because I've sort of said my feelings and picking apart the alt mode. The alt mode would have been absolutely fine if it just wasn't for this section just here. Like these 2 panels, fine. If you want to panel away, but 2 flappy panels hiding the chest when you can't be bothered to hide the legs or the arms or only partially hide the arms is a bit bollocks. Here's another thing for his attack mode. You can put his gun for gun storage. You can stick his gun on his side there. I think that looks like bollocks. I'd be hard pressed to find anyone who thought that didn't look like bollocks, but that looks like bollocks, so that's what it is. Fair enough. Okay, sorry about that. My camera cut out for no reason. I think my phone battery was getting very, very low. So we are going to push on with the transformation for this fucker right here. So which basically involves detaching quite a lot of the side panels just here. Start off at the back like this, and then detach these sections just here on both sides. Bring these sections forward. Now you can already see where things are starting to disconnect. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we're going to bring these ones out from the bottom, fold those out, split the front section just like this, where the legs used to be, but now of course the legs are fucking back here, and then we're going to try and split the whole thing apart like this. It might be difficult to see what's going on camera because this now looks like a fucking absolute mess. Okay, so get everything out to the sides like that. This section just here, okay, wants to sit very, very nicely in this nook down the bottom, okay? So let's bring that forward. And we're going to end up showing the head as well. Actually, one thing before I do that, this section at the back, right? If you pull this section down, as part of the transformation, you know the strange little missile he used to have on the top of his head. If you fold this part down, it makes that, for robot mode, look smaller than it actually is. And I actually really, really like that. It's a neat little touch, just like that. Pull it down, done. Pull this section out, this tab at the back, bring that down like that, okay? So bring this whole section forward, lock it in like this. It's going to be really tough to see what I'm doing. Okay, so bring that in, bring this whole section back, bring the fucking camera up, bring that whole section back like that, and then bring this tab, what is it, forwards like this, and then lock into place like that. Okay, so now we're going to disconnect the arms from the legs, disconnect the legs from the legs, and then underneath here we're going to start pulling out these tabs and the heel spurs. Okay, with varying degrees of success apparently. Right, okay, you're forcing me to get the tweezers out, boy. There you are, one heel spur, two heel spur, that's the legs, right? Right, now bear with me here. Bring these sections up, lock those into place, like that. Bring the arms, position the arms, and bring them down, okay? So that's pretty much the entire body done. Then around the back here, you need to start collapsing this entire assembly in on itself. Like that. Or not. This part is always the part that's the most fiddly. There we are. Bring that in, lock that in, bring this section down for the back, like that. And then collapse these two things here down, and then just start bringing everything up and folding everything away. Basically, that's all we have to do. Fold those in like that, and then yeah, start positioning things to your preference. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, if I just fucking pan back a little bit, because that was more painful than it had any realistic expectation to be. That right there is Studio Series 86 sweep. That doesn't fold underneath there, does it? No. So those fold in. It would have been nice if these tabbed in, but whatever. That's not right. That's not right. Something has gone severely wrong here, ladies and gentlemen. There we are. Let's bring that. Yeah. All right. So they're supposed to sit like that, which is not great. But whatever. So we bring those around to the back. This is Scourge. Scourge, Sweep, Colin, whatever you want to call him. And I've got mine mistransformed. I know I have. That's not fucking right at all. So, does that fold underneath there? Feels like it wants to, but it won't. Oh, for God's sake, now it's falling apart. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. There's probably a way of doing this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not an expert on these things, even though I'm a Transformers collector. I've got no fucking idea what I'm doing. Oh, hang on. Is that supposed to be it? Fold those in. Let's have a look at the back of the box. Right. Okay. So yeah, that's basically it. Right. So it does collapse on itself like that. Bring that round to the back, so that's out of the way. Those sit like that. That sits like this. That's a bit wank, but there we are. There's probably it's probably supposed to be a completely different way. Do you know what? I've given up really caring. Articulation in all the places you expect to find it, ladies and gentlemen. The head sculpt is amazing. Let's get a look at that head sculpt. Fuck, I won't stand up properly, but whatever. That head sculpt is mean, it's lean. Look at that. That looks absolutely fantastic. So ignoring for a moment, if you will, my inability to fucking transform this thing to any degree of success, right? Take a look. It's a shame that's not light piped, actually, because that would have been very, very nice. Or red painted light piping would have been really nice. But yeah, it is what it is. That's Sweep, ladies and gentlemen. Scourge, Colin, whatever you fuck you want to call him. I would have actually hoped a little bit more for this review, actually. This is a testament to what's wrong with my reviewing process, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that I film so many of them in a row, then take 6 weeks off, and then forget how to fucking review. So, yeah, you can get them into a multitude of different styles and different positions due to the articulation. The colours on him are fantastic. The paint is just subtle enough where it counts. Yeah, and ignoring, as I said, the dark colour blue that he's actually coming out on camera, because he's actually a lighter shade of blue. And the sculpting is really, really well done. He's a good little bot. I think he's far more successful in robot mode than he is in alt mode, and the alt mode is cool. So that's one of the best to come out of the Studio Series 86 line, actually. Despite the fact that I don't know how to transform him, because he's all panelly and fucking fiddly and things like that. Just if the generation of Scourge could fucking do it where he wasn't all panelly to fuck, I don't know why, the Studio Series 86 version couldn't. But there's far more panels and fiddling and positioning of panels there than I would have liked. Oh, and this is also a testament to how I don't really fuck around with my toys that much. I really should play with them more, so I can actually know what the fuck I'm doing when it comes to doing these poxy reviews, because otherwise I'm sat here looking like a dickhead in exactly the same way that I was looking like a dickhead. So, that I just demonstrated. So there you are. Make your own conclusions. So if you want to get him, ladies and gentlemen, get him. I think he's a fantastic little bot. Stylish, very, very well. He's well built as well. That's the thing. Apart from that thing that popped off, he doesn't feel like he wants to break or anything like that. The plastic quality feels solid. Yeah, there's not really that much to gripe about him, other than the fact that in alt mode that you can see most of his robot mode if you just move these two wing panels out of the way on the underside. But apart from that, yeah, that's Studio Series 86 Sweep. Thank you very much for watching this review, ladies and gentlemen. Such as it was actually, from my point of view, an absolutely unmitigated disaster. I will be back next week with something not as complex as that. Make of that what you will. And yeah, thank you for watching this. I'll be back next week. Until then, take care and ta-ta and shit.